Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. There's been a bunch of entertainment news today, and you got a huge one about Zack Snyder's Justice League today. I'll cover a little bit of the cooler details about the movie that's coming up next month and some interesting updates that happened from that article later on today. And also Godzilla Vs Kong. Yeah, the big set visit drop today. And I was kind of, I don't mean to get spiritual, but it's almost like every time something big happens, something else drops from Warner Brothers through Collider this time. So they're definitely putting that out for Warner Brothers today. But before I get into all those things, the first topic of the day actually is about Twisted Metal. You guys ever heard about this game, Twisted Metal, the video game? I used to play this all the time in the 90s, like all the different ones. Went to my friend's house and really played this game, and it was cool. It's like a death match, but with vehicles. You have all these different vehicles, missiles, and all kinds of stuff. It's really fun. And so it looks like they're actually going to get a TV adaptation. And this is actually from Will Arnett, Rhett Reeves, Paul Wernick, and Michael Jonathan Smith. Yeah, they're actually going to get a TV adaptation of a 90s video game. I don't know if it's going to work out, but you know what? Mad Max is still pretty popular, post-apocalyptic, pretty popular, and I think people my age would probably still appreciate it, I think, right? I remember the game, so I don't know. But Twisted Metal has included 5 video games across PS1, PS2, PS3. It came out in 1995. The action comedy follows a motor-mouthed outsider offered a chance at a better life, but only if he can successfully deliver a mysterious package across a post-apocalyptic wasteland with the help of a trigger-happy car thief. He'll face savage marauders driving vehicles of destruction and other dangers of the open road, including a deranged clown, the most popular character, I would say, who drives an all-too-familiar ice cream truck. So, yeah, so Mad Max, in terms of, I think, would be how they're gonna approach this, this video game adaptation. So, kind of intrigued to see how this would come out. Definitely. All right, the next thing is going into Godzilla, Gojira. So there's a new poster for the Godzilla Singular Point. This is a Netflix series that is coming out worldwide this year. I don't know when, but here's a new poster. Of course, this says, I think this would be Japan 325, right? On March 25th. I don't know if this is actually going to be a worldwide release yet, but this is the new poster for it. As I've, talked about the design of Godzilla before, it's kind of like a mix of Shin Godzilla and some other, amalgamations of different Godzilla, but it's a real anime series here. So if you're looking for more Godzilla, here's some more for you in terms of anime. And also more Godzilla. There has been a massive Godzilla vs. Kong details from the set visit. I'll start off with this cool looking poster. Look at that. Godzilla and Kong fighting underwater. Gotta say, Japan always makes some incredible posters. They make incredible artwork. I mean, all these the different drawings, the digital drawings are just absolutely amazing. They're very good at what they do, and everywhere you go in Japan, you will see like the quality all over the place. It's awesome. But Godzilla vs. Kong, that's the new poster for it. This is especially for the Japan market, I would say. And then this is the set visit from Collider in March 2019. We visited the set of Godzilla vs. Kong, learned over 50 cool things about the upcoming MonsterVerse Smackdown. I'm going to say Smackdown. So, or 51 things. All right, so this is it. This is the 50 plus things. I think there may be spoilers in here. So if you do not want to be spoiled at all, like you want to go in like a clean blank slate or whatever, then, go to the next chapter of Zack Snyder's Justice League. But if you're still here we go. And Godzilla vs. Kong, 51 things. Ew, Matt Goldberg. I don't like that guy. But headed down to Australia to witness the title event of the Monsterverse. In March 2019, a group of fellow journalists and I went down to Brisbane, Australia to visit the set of Godzilla vs. Kong. For me, this was my third time visiting the set of a Godzilla movie, having previously done visits for 2014's Godzilla and 2019's Godzilla King of the Monsters. I obviously needed to know how my chunky son would fare when matched up against a very angry monkey. So I packed a bag, I don't care about what the fuck Matt Goldberg did, but our day began by talking with producer Alex Garcia, and he outlined most of the plot for us. I won't do that here because they clearly don't want what? No people knowing what happens by the time you get to the third act, but I'll give you the broad outline. The film takes place 5 years after the events of King of the Monsters. Godzilla has been reinstated as the apex predator, but he's been acting erratically, and Madison, played by Millie Bobby Brown, believes there's a reason for his actions. So you see that in trailers. Monarch, reacting to global fears about the Titans, has been creating access to the Hollow Earth in an attempt to lure the monsters back beneath the surface and stem their rampage. An attempt to take Kong away from Skull Island brings him into conflict with Godzilla. While we still see the human side through Monarch, there's now an evil human company called Apex that's a megalithic organization doing some bad stuff. Oh, interesting. Skull Island is what happens when the Hollow Earth comes to the surface. So in a way, Skull Island is like a prelude to the threat that could engulf the planet. As usual with these movies, neither Kong nor Godzilla are inherently good or evil. They're simply fighting for what motivates them. Madison works to investigate with the help of Josh Julian Dennison, as well as the former Apex technician Bernie Hayes, played by Brian Tyree Henry. They told us more than that, but again, I don't want to spoil any of the surprises for those wondering how Kong could even take on a monster the size of Godzilla. We were told to keep in mind that Skull Island takes place 40 years prior to this film. In that interim, Kong has gotten bigger and more battle-scarred. We were then taken to the set, and fans of the Godzilla franchise will probably be able to read between the lines of what I'm about to describe. You may recall that in the post-credit scenes of King of the Monsters, Alan Jonah, played by Charles Dance, purchases Ghidorah's severed head. We walked onto the set, and there was a gigantic Ghidorah skull that had been wired up and made technological. It's one of the cooler sets I've been on, and it looks like they have taken the organic matter of Ghidorah and mechanized it into some kind of new kind of mechanized creature. Now you're getting excited, and you're thinking, "Oh my God, it's Mecha Ghidorah!" But I don't think so. I think this is how they're gonna make Mecha Godzilla using King Ghidorah's head. What the heck is this? All right, well, that's... What is that? He feels like one of the strengths of this film is that audiences are now on board with both Godzilla and Kong, as opposed to something like Batman v Superman, where audiences didn't really know Ben Affleck's new Batman. Oh, that's an interesting way to put it. When it came to crafting the action scenes, he's always wanted to keep the terrain in mind and how the monsters would use it. He never felt like he had to course correct Godzilla vs. Kong based on the reception to Godzilla King of the Monsters. Interesting that he said that, because there was that Toby Emmerich who announced that they're going to try to do things to Godzilla vs. Kong after the Godzilla's King of the Monsters. And so everybody thought they're like, uh-oh, here we go. There we go. They're going to make him do stuff. Maybe they did. Who knows? It's been almost years since this was supposed to have come out. So, and that's pretty much it. There's nothing much new that we couldn't already tell from looking at the trailer here. But basically, I think something that really stood out to me was actually the head, right? Ghidorah's head. They pretty much just said that, and I think that's what it is. You know what that purple room is? I'm wondering if that's like the control room for Mecha Godzilla. Like, because that is the scientist, right? That's the scientist's son. Serizawa's son, and I'm thinking this is Apex. This is some kind of inner brain. This is in the skull, right? This is in the skull. Okay, I'm seeing it now. So this is in the skull. This is where they're going to control Mecha Godzilla in this thing. So that's pretty insane. But yeah, can't wait to see this movie. It's definitely going to be really, really exciting. All right. Now, moving on, we talked about Zack Snyder's Justice League. I read the whole thing. Like, I read the whole thing, right? This morning. And you can check out that video. I'll link it up there if you haven't yet. And check that out. But it concerns to that Vanity Fair article. Big, extensive. I got to read it over again and just kind of consume it a bit. And a lot of stuff, we've been talking about for a long time now, but it's finally great to see it on paper. And Zack Snyder also putting in his own words in there as well. So I'm glad he was able to do that, get that off his chest in a way. So great to see Christopher Nolan backing him up. Funny to hear that some Warner Brothers executive called Justice League a piece of shit. I thought that was awesome. Who would that be? I have no idea. I'm wondering, would it be like Charles Roven, you think, or somebody else? I don't know, but definitely somebody was not happy with that. Rightfully so. But then he got into little details of the story, and I talked about Bruce and Lois. I did a tinfoil on that a while back. I even brought that on Dave the Film Junkie's vodka stream, and they all looked at me like, "What? No way! What? What do you mean, Bruce and Lois?" But it turned out to be true. Whether that actually happens in the movie now, I don't know. It's not really. I wasn't really clear of whether he shot that, and they said they're going to take that out, or that was an idea that he never got to shoot. So that part was still, I'm still kind of confused about that. But I mean, it would make sense. Hopefully he would be able to do that because that was the original idea. But maybe not. Maybe they took out that idea and it's no longer that. So there is that. And I want to tell you about Toby Emmerich. I know in that article they made him he's like, I respect Zack and everything. Don't trust this guy. I'm telling you, never forget this dude right here, right? This fucker right here is a liar, okay? And he's still in the background, still doing shit in the background, right? He puts a face on, and that's the face that is like that smile on, but don't forget. And what I mean, don't forget that article back in 2017 when Zack Snyder left, right? Snyder, after screening a rough cut of Justice League for fellow filmmakers and friends, wanted to add additional scenes. So he brought Whedon on board to write them. This is in 2017. This was the excuses, the lies that Emmerich and the Warner Brothers team presented to the public. And I ate it up back then. So I'm royally pissed that I had believed this shit, right? So, but as he prepared to shoot the scenes in England, Snyder realized it was not the time to leave home. This is the part. This is from Toby Emmerich. The directing is minimal, and it has to adhere to the style and tone and the template that Zack set. We're not introducing any new characters. It's the same characters in some new scenes. He's handing the baton to Joss, but the course has really been set by Zack. I still believe that despite this tragedy, we'll still end up with a great movie. All lies, even down to being a great movie. So, yeah, I was just saying, don't believe this motherfucker because he's still an asshole. Still an asshole. And he's still there. He's still there. So, yeah, quite the son of a bitch. But anyway, so, Ray Fisher put out a tweet with a picture of himself, and it's really cool. That's him in the cyborg suit. In the article, he was like hanging like that. But this is another picture of him, and it looks really cool. I can't wait to see the finished product. Definitely, that's awesome. And then there was a little thing at the end that I kind of glossed over. I apologize. It was when he said that they reshot the ending with a surprise hero cameo that will blow your minds, right? Will blow our minds, right? And with that line, I glossed over because I already assumed it was like Martian Manhunter. Okay, I just kind of like, well, isn't that Martian Manhunter? Because that interview was last year. It was a while back. And by then, we didn't really quite know that he shot. Well, the Martian Manhunter thing never really came out yet, but I mean, kind of did, but I just learned about them shooting a certain Martian Manhunter scene. But anyway, but Ryan Reynolds, someone I guess it was trending today. People thought it was Green Lantern, even Charlie Hunnam Green Arrow. Will it be? But the epic voice guy John Bailey says spoilers. It's Anthony Reynolds Snyder Cut, and it's funny because Ryan Reynolds doesn't bring out, like, he doesn't add anything to the conversation. Usually, like, he just stays out of it. But there's always certain moments where he all of a sudden just comes up for some reason. But he said this: "It's not me, but what a cool pirate flag to cameo as Hal. Maybe it's another Green Lantern, but for me, the suit stays in the closet. I mean, computer. Of course, he doesn't like the digital suit. But hey, if you ever come down and on a Zack Snyder, it will be it will be a Michael Wilkinson suit. But it's cool to hear him say that he'd be cool to cameo as Hal. It's what I'm reading over there, but maybe it's another GL. And I'm just wondering, well, what other GL is there if it's not Hal Jordan? It's almost like he's not saying maybe it's someone else playing me, or maybe it's another Hal. He says maybe it's another Green Lantern. Does that mean you're still Hal? You're still claiming Hal for yourself? But maybe it's another GL, another Green Lantern. And I'm thinking, well, what's the other famous Green Lantern out here? John Stewart. So I'm thinking, if possible, maybe it's John Stewart that shows up at the ending. Or maybe because it was an article back in October. It was an article on a set visit that they done back in October, because that's around the time they had the set visit. That it really was just Martian Manhunter, because that was back then. Maybe it's just Martian Manhunter. So I don't know. I can't wait to find out. And we don't have to wait very long. This surprise mystery, less than 23 days. we're gonna get to see the ending of this thing, and at the end, it's gonna say For Autumn. That is just, it's just nice. Just be able to see that on screen would be quite something. So definitely a very exciting day today in terms of Zack Snyder's Justice League. A lot of conversation to be had about everything, and really excited. I see a lot of people are excited as well, and I think it's something definitely, like, I can't believe we got this far. Like, through the Snyder Cut, released the Snyder Cut campaign, I've always had hope. Like, I've always hoped, and I've always kept my faith that one day it will be released, and the Snyders will get their justice, and all the cast and crew and everybody else, and all you guys will get to see some epic movie. I've always had that faith, but it's just every day as we get closer and closer, I just realize that, oh my God, fucking thing is coming true. we're finally getting it. We're finally gonna get it. I mean, I can't fathom it still yet, but I can't. I don't know. Damn. But anyway, but yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Enjoy this moment, guys. Definitely. But there's still some work. There's still work to go. And I'm gonna have a video out maybe tomorrow, unless something big drops. I may delete it again. I was gonna drop it today. It was called DCEU Explained 2021, on how I see it and who's in charge of what, on greenlighting what, and what that could mean for all this different connectivities here, right? Oh, speaking of connectivity, there was a little segment in the article where he said that the Birds of Prey and Suicide Squad were in his Gotham City, which is to a certain extent true, because at that time when they were developing Birds of Prey, Batman was missing. Why is Batman missing? Well, Batman's off. He went off to find Arthur, right? So that definitely was kind of part of that. So whether that actually was something that they wanted to actually continue on and being interconnected, I don't think so. Like Zack Snyder, whatever they're going to do, they can do on their own. But what I'm focusing on, where my story is being told, it's Zack Snyder, like Zack Snyder's own story, right? His Snyderverse, that's that. But any director can welcome to be part of the universe by using story elements, using that world, and using this and that for their own project, but it's not necessary that Zack Snyder is overseeing said project, right? So be aware of that when you watch my DCU explain. But after that, I think it's still gonna be a fight. Like if you guys want Justice League 2, we're gonna have to really, really support Zack Snyder's Justice League. Really, it's gonna be harder to support it. Getting a sequel movie because of the people in charge of releasing movies. It may be easier supporting it, like if Zach wants to try go the series route, that would actually be easier for him, but also tougher too. Maybe the budgets aren't the same and things like that, but logistics may not be the same. But I'll tell you all about it in my DCU explained. All right, so that is it. Let's get into the Ping Pong Flix members' comments and questions. I think I have a lot today, and quite a bit. Okay, the first comment is from Talveve. I love the first movie, Meg. It was different from what we used to see as far as a shark movie. I love Jason Statham in it. I'm excited for a second movie. I hope we can see movies in theaters. I wish Zack Snyder's Justice League was playing in theaters, at least in IMAX. Me too. Still no info on how we can get it in the UK. Oh, really? So nothing's coming out from that. That's kind of interesting. I'm wondering, anybody else here in the UK that can find out how they're getting it? It's supposed to be released worldwide. William Powell, highly doubt Zack Snyder would use characters such as Supergirl or Grail. It would the same mistake Spider-Man 3 made, not only in packing an already crowded film with more characters, but inserting characters that are far beyond the story he seems to be telling. It could run the risk of cluttering. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it seemed like he was already going to try to input another Kryptonian, and we've always thought that was Supergirl, but yeah, I guess we'll find out. Let me close that. Chris, is Army of the Dead related at all to 2004's Dawn of the Dead? If so, I need to rewatch that. No, it's not related at all to the Dawn of the Dead. This is a new kind of universe, if you will. It's a new retelling. Not retelling. It's a new story. Zack Snyder Justice League is playing in theaters. Why not us here in USA? Big as this movie is, I think it is appropriate to show in theaters or IMAX all of the US. And I have to agree. Blame Warner Brothers because they're in charge of distribution. Honestly, I prefer Man of Steel to the original. The Donner version was something I watched as a kid, but have never watched since. Man of Steel was the first on-screen Superman that I appreciated and honestly cared what happened to him. Man of Steel is also the only Blu-ray I own. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you get another one because I think he's going to make an IMAX one too. I've always thought Sophia Lillis would make a kick-ass Carrie Kelly. Yeah, she could. Also, Finn Wolfhard is young Bruce Wayne in BVS. Also, he plays Mike in Stranger Things. Yeah. I like both movies, but I'll take BVS because we never seen Superman and Batman, not to mention Wonder Woman in this movie. It was cool to see all three of them sharing the screen together. I know it is possible to see all of them on the big screen, but I never thought I would see it in my lifetime. We've seen it so many times in animated series and movies, but not on the big screen. Props to Zack Snyder for bringing it to fruition. I can't wait to see Zack Snyder's Justice League next month. I will be watching this over and over and over and over. Oh, did I mention over and over? Oh, thanks for asking. Yes, I did. Over again. Awesome. Hot Toys, Metal Workshop, and similar types of manufacturers usually put out their merchandise way later, like a year or more later. So July for McFarlane is pretty good, no? Well, if that's the case, then yeah, you're right. It's not that bad. Hamada Films, please. Actual human beings make those films, not soulless execs. Yeah, they can interfere, but they're not the people on the ground making those films. Which films is that? Hamada Films. But they're still green-lit them. And I think what you're missing the point is what I'm talking about in people in charge of greenlighting. But more on in DCU explained. BVS is all fabulous, but Man of Steel has a heart, a feel, and a mood to it that are unique in my opinion. Chris, the Running Man movie was nothing like the book really, so the remake will probably be more like the book. Originally, the 1987 film was going to star Christopher Reeve, was more like the book, but the story changed a lot when they cast Schwarzenegger instead. Oh, I didn't know Christopher Reeve was going to be in that. Wow, that's interesting. Honestly, here's how I feel with the Flash film. It could be good, but the fact that these creative decisions are being made without Snyder's involvement, the casting of Sasha Cal being a Muschietti Hamada decision, Cavill being further sidelined, and the knowledge that Hamada is against anything and everything that is Snyderverse is what I think bothers some people. I'm curious to know what Snyder's interpretation of Supergirl would have been. Also, Man of Steel left the impression that everyone on Krypton was Caucasian, even though there were diverse accents in the Krypton scenes. Most of them were American accents. What I think will happen is Sasha's possibly just playing a racially ambiguous Supergirl with a generic accent who's from Krypton, and Krypton is possibly now a racially diverse society. She probably not playing a Latino Supergirl who has a Spanish accent when she speaks English. Also, another possibility is that she's an alternative universe Supergirl with a different background from the Kara Zor-El we all know. Personally, I think the reality is that this casting and the news around it is meant to take focus off the Ray Fisher, Joss Whedon stuff. I personally just want to see Zack Snyder's Justice League and a Snyderverse continuation. The big question is, are the schedules of the actors clear? Possibly not. The good thing about Zack Snyder's Justice League is Henry Lennox, Martian Manhunter, could possibly steal the show. Yeah, I'm waiting for that Martian Manhunter, man. And you're right. I don't think she's going to have an accent. I think she's just like, Henry Cavill has an accent, but he drops it. All the other actors from, different places, Nicole Kidman, they drop their accent and they speak regular, English. Which is pretty cool. I don't know how they do that. Looking forward to Army of the Dead and Zack Snyder's Justice League. Chris, with Supergirl set to appear in Flash, it's pretty clear Warner Brothers is going to restart, not reboot, the DCEU. Arif Hussain, in India, even the premium movie booking website Book My Show has listing for Zack Snyder's Justice League. I've clicked I'm interested button and it has generated 10K interest. Oh, this could very well mean that this movie is coming to the theaters, but I would still suggest everyone in India to click the interested button. Doesn't take more than a minute. Do it everywhere you can. I definitely want to see this movie on the big screen. Oh, that's cool. So I didn't know what that is. So Book My Show is kind of like if you want to see it and click on it, or is that eventually they will actually release it? Chris, your experience with the Meg sounds like my reaction to Jurassic Park. I read the Crichton novel before I knew a movie was coming, and I was a little disappointed. It's such a great novel, and the movie is so different. Dr. Grant is supposed to be a big, grumpy, shaggy, beardy guy. Dr. Sadler is supposed to be a 20-something grad student. And John Hammond is supposed to be a mean, gritty suit guy who doesn't care about his grandkids. Plot was a bit different. And yes, in my missing post, I was a bit of a garbage mouth. Oh, maybe that's why. I might have to, I don't know how do I find those. But yeah, for interesting, because Jurassic Park, I didn't even read the novel until I watched the movie. And I actually liked the novel because it got into really the scientific details of it a little bit more. It was like a little bit more in depth and maybe even more mature as well. Adding on a similar thought to Geek Haven Jan 86, maybe the American version of Train to Busan is exactly that, taking place in the same universe. While Train to Busan takes place in Korea, the American version takes place in America. It would be interesting to have different countries tackling the same problem with different or same methods, similar to today's COVID-19 situation. England will have their own infestation. The problem they'll have to figure out a way to deal with. Mexico, Africa, like World War Z, but separated into different movies. We would have the ultimate worldwide continuity movie universe. By the way, you sold me on the JL Wonderland and Home Kit. I can send you some photos of it when I receive it. My condolences that they don't ship to Hawaii. Hopefully there is something similar that you can enjoy for the release. Well, thank you so much, Jugu Licks. But yeah, that would be kind of cool. But I'm just wondering, like, once we see the trailer or something, and it's this guy and the wife and the daughter, you're like, oh, okay, wait a minute. but they could still do that. I'm saying, but it'll be interesting indeed. I like your idea better though, having it much more like a same story and like figuring it out. But it's really, I mean, if at the end of the day, like all zombie movies, if you take out the factor that like you learn where the virus comes from. For those movies that you never know where the virus comes from, like I recommend checking Alive, #Alive, another Korean movie over on Netflix, where this one guy in an apartment, is stuck in his apartment and tries to survive the whole thing. Nothing about where the virus came from, or at least I don't remember. I don't think there was. So it's like a clear mystery. So a lot of times, a lot of these zombie movies could be connected in some way, because you never know, especially if they're the same type of zombies, like the ones that run fast, if it's the ones that go slow, it's like there's so many different types. But yeah, there are ways to make it like, oh, this is the same world, maybe throw it in there. Oh, there was a incident at Busan. I don't know. I'm going to be starting my own hashtag, launch HBO Max worldwide. The fact they are saying it's a better streamer than Netflix is a joke when so many of us can't get it. Here in the UK, HBO content is locked into Sky TV for 5 years. So that means either I pay astronomical prices for their content on a Sky package, or I use a VPN to go backdoor route to get their content. I have VPN, but I wish I didn't have to launch HBO Max worldwide. Wow, I didn't realize that. That sucks. Oh man. Hi, Chris. Just got through reading the latest Vanity Fair article. Needless to say, it's an absolute must-read. I won't spoil anything, but I will say there's a line near the end which could get really some serious speculation going on, and I know what you're talking about. In fact, I just talked about it today. If the Snyder Cut going to be free worldwide, I don't know if it's going to be free worldwide, because even HBO Max, you got to pay for it. Maybe it will be on a premium somehow. In each country, will probably be a little different. While that Vanity Fair article was epic, let's all agree on one thing: Joss Whedon is done. I'm sure he's planning his retirement right now. The Buffy cast coming out, the Ray Fisher investigation, and everything else was a sign, but this article has put the nail in the coffin for that guy. Jeff Johns is also done too. I wonder who that anonymous Warner Brothers exec was who kept it real about how shocked they were at Whedon's work on JL. Yeah, me too. I mean, I don't know who it was either. I really hope Hot Toys does some figures. I also believe Warner Brothers is trying their best to mess it up. Hi, Chris. Wow, what an incredible, brutal, honest article. I came away feeling heartbroken for the Snyders. Anyone with a heart would. This really does show what they've waded through in order to get the film finished. No matter how the film turns out, and we all know it's going to be fire. An artist deserves to have their art out in the world. All those who brayed and laughed at the film that didn't exist should read this article and feel ashamed. Yeah, and for those who laughed and ridiculed by saying, "Oh, why do you put Hallelujah in the song?" Come on, Hallelujah is Autumn's favorite song. So shut the fuck up. Sorry. When the article said the filmmaker is often said being an adoptive father is one of the reasons he was so invested in the story of Kal-El, a powerful being who became Superman thanks to the love and care of Jonathan and Martha Kent, it literally brought me to tears, and is one of the many reasons for me anyway why this is way more than a movie for us. It got me thinking about my own life and my father, who is not biologically my dad. It's always been a theme in Zack's films I've connected with on a personal level. What a great article, so much to unwrap, and so honest, moving, and personal. Thank you so much, Brent. That's the thing, you can find something in yourself in any movie, really. But a lot of people can find that message in Zack's work, especially Man of Steel, because he put his own life in that movie, right? So that it makes it much more meaningful. Listening to Zack Snyder's daughter has brought tears to my eyes. Zack and Deborah Snyder will wish you happiness in the world you deserve. Aloha, Chris. Autumn, rest in peace, Angel, Deborah, and Zack Snyder. May God continue to lay his and strength upon the Snyders. This article had me crying, man. No. Yeah, I almost did. I was like, I just need a minute. So, sorry for all the pauses. To me, I only take issue with changes in character hair color if it makes a female character no longer redhead. People often talk about representation casting. Well, redheads are a stark minority. MJ Little Mermaid now, I don't know. Legend of the Guardians is a pretty good movie. Floored by his words. Being a father myself, it brings a tear to my eye. # for Autumn. Regarding the poll, Man of Steel is my all-time favorite comic book movie. Before watching it, though I like Superman, I was primarily a Batman fan. Man of Steel made me a full-on Superman guy, even buying up some of the iconic post-crisis comics. It also made me a full-on Lois Lane fan, obviously. For the film, if you'd asked me if I prefer Clark Lois or Clark Diana, I'd have said either. But thanks to Zach and Amy, I know why Lois is the key to Clark's heart, and no one else. And I always get irked whenever a comic or animated film pushes the Superman Wonder Woman thing. Oddly enough, though, I'd seen Night at the Museum 2 before, I hadn't really paid much attention to Amy Adams, the actress, though I liked her Amelia Earhart in that one, until seeing Man of Steel and falling in love with her Lois. Amparo, it's nice to see he had the chance to give his version of what happened. By the way, I think the cameo will be Deadshot or Amanda Waller. Ooh, that's new. So that's there. There's two more theoretical appearances in that one as well. I guess you were right about Lois, Bruce, and Superman. It reminds me of King Arthur, Lancelot, and Guinevere triangle. It's exactly that's what it was. That's why you see the sword. Into the planet and stuff, because in Excalibur he stuck the sword there, while Lancelot and Guinevere were sleeping naked. Jenna Malone's character in BVS is Dr. Jeanette Clyburn, a Star Labs scientist. But yeah, I'd love to see a lot more of her, perhaps as the Watson to Lois's home in, say, an HBO Max Lois Lane series. Oddly enough, Chris, what Zach says about Bruce and Lois actually really supports my take on your Bruce Lois theory. It's the aftermath of Clark's death, where Bruce reaches out to Lois, feeling for her, desiring to connect with her and protect her. But as Zach notes, she's fixed on her love for Clark, motivating Bruce to bring him back. It's possible their relationship is limited to mere dates, hugs, eventually big freaking kiss. Bruce offers more, but Lois, stuck on Clark's memory, turns him down. Now, as you may recall, I point out when I first discovered my theory above that during the main production, a tabloid claimed that there's a scene where Lois and Batfleck hug. Well, if that's the case, then that means he did shoot it, right? Now as for the baby, remember Zach's applause to my post way back, which Dave confirmed was his saying, well, I was correct. To that end, we can assume Bruce Baby Kent is conceived in the Kent farmhouse. On that, notice the line from Wayne Coffin trickling blood to the bat symbol where some blood symbolically transforms into sperm, other drops remaining blood. The coffin comes first. The line means the son of Clark, and Lois inherits Bruce's legacy, symbolized by the name Bruce Kent. But yeah, about this part though. So if you saw a tabloid claim there's a scene where Lois and Batfleck hug, that's kind of interesting. That means he actually shot it. And like he said before, I think he said on John Doe Movie Reviews, where he said that he can't wait to take out the parts that the studio wanted him to shoot and put back the parts that he wanted to shoot, that he shot. This article is necessary for the world. So well balanced in the writing and so informing. Chris, so glad you tinfoiled Lois and Bruce. I tend to believe you in most theories, mostly because I feel you put genuine thought into it, but also from a hardcore fan perspective. That last paragraph brought me to tears. So happy that the entire world gets to see this in less than 4 weeks. Less than 4 weeks! That's right! Holy shit! Man, less than 23 days, I think it's what's on the official website. Aloha, Chris. I admire, respect the real great sharks in our oceans. I personally enjoyed the Meg and saw it 2 times in the glorious Cinemark IMAX theater. Oh, 2 times. Wow. Looking forward to the next film. And yeah, Zack Snyder's Justice League does deserve an IMAX theatrical release. This article is huge. It is huge and substantial. From today and for the few days out, there's going to be these articles, mini blog articles, taking elements from the story and putting out as headlines, by the way. I just know it. What's up, Chris? This is so sad to hear the pain of losing a daughter from Zack, and hearing the studio sin against Zack is heartbreaking for a DC fan. People are power, so we as fans have more control than we think. We just need to push behind Ray and Zack so we can make things right. Alison Crowe was a singer at the bar scene in Man of Steel 2. Exactamungo. Zack Snyder's Justice League. So that's kind of cool. As heartbreaking as this, I would love to see a biopic made on this whole narrative. Who could you see play Zack Snyder? My pick is Pedro Pascal. Yes, I know it's a trend to cast him in everything right now. But yeah, that's hilarious. By the way, update as of 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The trailer at 498K likes and over 19 million views. But remember, it's just a couple of fans. Yep, it's just Russian bots, man. We're nothing. I'm not really here. This is a virtual image of some bald Chinese dude who I'm actually a Russian, I think. Sorry. Very informative and heartfelt article. I can imagine when Chris Nolan saw Justice League with Debbie, he was like, what the fuck is this bloody shit? Blooming hell. No matter what differences and avenues the fandom took, whether good or bad, everyone can celebrate that they all had a hand in delivering this success stories of Zack Snyder's Justice League. I hope folks will bury the hatch and reconcile, and that certain individuals will even reach out to you, Chris, and finally apologize till all are one. Oh, well, I don't know who will apologize, but definitely, the one thing that surprised me was Chris Nolan. We knew he was an executive producer, and I guess he would go and watch it, but no one thought to ask him, hey, how was Justice League? Even during Tenet, I don't think anybody asked him about it, or if they did, he didn't say anything. But I'm actually kind of glad to actually hear from him in a way, saying that he wanted to make sure that Zack can never see this movie. He respected him that much as a film director, as an artist, to say that you don't watch it, Zack. Don't do it. As a friend, don't do that. So I thought that was kind of sweet. I thought that was really kind of heartwarming when I read that. I'm like, and I was like, wow, man, that's cool. That's really cool. Christopher Nolan, man. But yeah, definitely is an eye-opening article. Especially an eye-opening article for a lot of people, for outside the fandom as well, and for a lot of verified. And I'm glad it came out, because it really does kind of show you what Warner Brothers is. The fact that more people are now demanding for it. They realize that, I don't know why they didn't realize before, but they realize it more now, that this is something that is special to Zack and Snyder. And as a father, as a family, person, as a family man or a woman, you can definitely respect that this is what Zack Snyder wants. He's doing it for free. Again, he's doing it for free, right? And whether or not people like it or not, I think this time they are going to respect the fact that he's able to do this. And at the least amount, that's something we could be happy about for anybody who cares to watch his movie come March 18th, right? But we'll definitely watch it over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right. That is it for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you absolutely love this daily dose of entertainment news and content, please click the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye.